Welcome back. This is Lee and Alison from the Law School Toolbox, and today we are going to be talking about what you can do now to get ready for law school. It is a new year. Law school applications are up. People are getting ready to go to school. It's kind of an exciting time over the summer.
It is. I feel like this is the time for people to get ready and get all of their ducks in a row and set themselves up for the best possible chances of success when they start law school.
Yeah. So a question we frequently get from 0Ls or incoming 1Ls is, what should I read before starting law school?
Well, I love this question. There's certainly books and things we could recommend. I think my biggest advice is always just read something. Read something that's hard, that's challenging, and try to do it in a longer block of time than you might do if you're just kind of cruising through the internet on your phone. So I think this is a great opportunity to train that muscle for reading and, get in the habit of sitting down and reading something difficult for long blocks of time. What do you think?
I totally agree. And I just did this exercise for myself recently because you and I are working on some projects and I wanted to go audit a bunch of books. So I went to the library and I brought home a bunch of books and I sat down and set goals for myself to read for hours, which I don't really do anymore. I realize we work on the computer for hours, but sit down with a book and I read for hours and then I took notes because I wanted to share what I was reading with you. So that was something I hadn't done in a long time. And at first it felt a little weird because you realize that is its own skill. But at the end of the second week, I'm telling you, I've finished my fourth book. Here are my notes, and you're like, cool, that's great. Thanks for sharing. But it is a great reminder that even, any of us can get back into that swing of kind of this academic auditing. But I will tell you, I had to shut my computer, other than I was taking notes on my computer at times, but I turned off my phone and put it on silent. I turned off my notifications on my computer and I just did blocks of deep work, just like we tell our students to do. And it was pretty amazing how much I got done in a few weeks of really focused work.
It is really amazing. I was very impressed by how many books you were actually reading. I think Lee at this point has read every How to Do Law School book out there.
I think so.
So we can maybe link to a couple of your favorites.
True.
But yeah, even, I sat down this weekend and picked up a paper copy of The New Yorker and read it almost cover to cover. And that also felt really weird that I was just sitting on the couch. Where was my phone? Reading something. I think that is a habit a lot of people either A, never developed, or B, are out of the habit of doing.
I know. I thought about this too when I was on a plane recently and I chose not to pay for the Wi-Fi. And I realized that, that was just going to be hours. And I was also still in this book project. So I read for a long time. And, we are really trained to just be constantly interrupted. And the speed at which we can work with focus is pretty amazing for most of us. I think all of us will work faster if we do it with focus. If you have any attention deficit issues, it's even more important, I think. But I was pleasantly surprised at how productive I could be when doing that focused deep work. Now, is it easy to keep that discipline past the couple intensive weeks I did that? Maybe not, but it's a worthwhile exercise.
And you're not going to law school. So
yeah, exactly. So I do think though, some of these, I did just audit a bunch of books in the how-to law school space. And I think some of them are great. I think if you really haven't had any experience with law school, you don't have any lawyers in your family, sure. I think that reading something that kind of explains the school system a little bit can be helpful. Some of them are very intimidating. Some of them are very boring. Some of them are very nuanced beyond what you need to know for those first days of law school. We have a Start Law School Right course as well that focuses mostly on kind of study skills. It is not like you need to do that to be successful on day one. I think it is much more important to, be in the mindset of reading, doing some hard work. And, if you want to learn about law school, that's great. But I don't think you need to pre-study or read case books or torts summaries or anything like that. There's plenty of time to study that stuff in law school.
I agree. I think this is more time to get a basic understanding of what you're getting into if you don't already have that. And then start training that reading muscle. And it might be that you literally set a timer for 20 minutes one day and then 40 minutes the next day and then 60 minutes the next week. Because I think it is a muscle that you really have to work, and you have to be really cognizant of, am I being interrupted or am I actually focusing? And I think that's the biggest thing that's probably going to help you be successful later in law school.
Yeah. And I was just talking about this recently with my son's elementary school teacher, who I will say elementary school teachers give some really great solid studying advice that all of us can, kind of own and incorporate. But we were talking about reading and reading novels and setting up time for our family to do basically like dedicated reading time where we all do silent reading kind of together. And then he said, after the reading time, make sure you sit and you discuss like some takeaways or some reflections on whatever you read, either the story or if it's, a book about learning something. And then I realized that that's what I was somewhat doing with my own note taking with this book project, because I knew I was trying to save you time. So I was trying to write. So I needed to have my notes make sense because I wanted you to read them. But also that's its own skill of like, oh, I read this and like, what did I like about it? And so this idea too of reading and then writing down a few reflections, even if it's just a novel, I think that that's another kind of muscle to practice and stretch a little bit, because that's really what you're doing in law school. You have to learn, you have to read something, you have to internalize it, and then you have to be able to talk about it. And I think that that is helpful. It'll also help with retention.
100% agree.
Yeah. Oh, and you should read the Mindset book by Carol Dweck. That's
true.
A good one.
That's always a classic.
It's always a classic.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one for your pre-law school summer.
If you enjoyed this video, please take a second to give us a like, leave us a comment, and make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future content. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to us on the contact form at lawschooltoolbox.com.
And stay tuned for the next video in this series.